Hi, everyone. My name is Jake. I go by any pronouns, but some of you may know me better as Dr. Spells. I stream on Twitch and I make a funny little TikTok series called Doctor's Orders, which is 90% goofs and 10% advice for casual commander. It's like when you mix in medicine into wet food for your cat. But I'm not here to talk about any of that today. What I'm here today to do is to hurt myself on camera for spicy plays. And while I do that, I'm going to be talking about my Hoffrey Ghostforge deck. Hoffrey Ghostforge is a mythic commander from Strixhaven. Kind of got overlooked. Hoffrey is 3 and a Boros for a legendary dwarf cleric. Spirits you control get +1/+1 and have haste and trample. And when a non-token creature you control dies, you exile it from your graveyard and you make a token copy of it. And when the token dies, you return the non-token card to your graveyard. So this is one of my newer decks. I like it a lot, but I could just talk about it, or I could eat this here habanero pepper while doing it. Spicy plays, everybody. Down the hatch.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh. All right. Yeah. Wow. Oh, that is a lot. That is a lot. But we're gonna. I need to swallow all of it first. I don't want it all knocking around my mouth while I'm talking. Okay, I think I can do this. Oh, waves. Okay, so the reason I wanted to do this deck is because when Kamigawa Neon Dynasty was spoiled, I really liked the dragon spirits that were spoiled, Ao and Atsushi specifically. These dragons have really cool dice triggers. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Waves. It comes in waves, folks. The dragon spirits have really cool dice triggers. You can get treasured or exiled creatures, or you can cheat in cards for the top of your library. It's super cool. And I was thinking, like, well, these dice triggers are great, but they're not as good if you can only do it once. So how can I abuse that? And then I remembered I had sneak attack in a folder I wasn't doing anything with. You can pay a red to cheat in creatures. Oh my god. I can cheat in creatures from my hand onto the battlefield and sacrifice them. Super duper good with Hoffrey, and so I just started from going there. So in a commander deck, you have to worry about things like card draw, ramp, and I wanted, since Hoffrey can give you extra value for your non-token creatures. Oh my god! There are creatures I gravitated towards that draw you cards, specifically Spirited Companion and Wall of Omens. Oh, I'm crying. As they enter the battlefield, they draw you a card, kind of innocuous by themselves, but if you can sacrifice them, get another token copy, draw another card, you can just get extra value. Another card in this category is Combustible Gear Hulk. As it enters the battlefield, an opponent can choose for you to draw 3 cards or mill 3 cards, and it deals damage to them based on their CMC. They almost always choose for you to draw 3 cards. There was a game where I made 5 copies of this and I drew 15 cards. It was incredible. So card draw, we got that down. Ramp. Boros sometimes gets a hard time for being bad at ramp and card draw, but when you get the engine going with Hoffrey, it can really just start spiraling. Knight of the White Orchid and Solemn Simulacrum are good targets for this kind of ramp to get basics and onto the battlefield, or even Knight of the White Orchid can get non-basics that are planes, like a Sacred Foundry. Oh. And now, also, there are some really sweet white creatures, especially like printed in the last few years or so, that can remove creatures or threats as they enter the battlefield. So for our removal, we're looking to cards like Cavalier of Dawn that can destroy a non-land permanent. Every time I think I'm getting better, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Cavalier of Dawn can destroy a non-land permanent, and they get a 3/3 golem. And when it dies, you get something, an artifact or enchantment from your graveyard back to the battlefield. So super good value. Also in the removal category, you have cards like Skyclave Apparition and Cathar Commando. Cathar Commando is sweet. I think I'm holding Cathar Commando. Yes, I am. I'm losing my fucking mind. But this deck is not just drawing cards, ramping, and removing stuff. We also have our bombs. We got to win the game, right? So one way we can win the game is by stealing our opponent's creatures with Molten Primordial or Zealous Conscripts that can steal creatures from the other side of the board onto the battlefield under your control. To be clear, Zealous Conscripts can combo with Kiki Jiki, which is a combo you could run in this deck. It could be sweet. My playgroup doesn't really do that, so I don't run it in this deck, but you could if you're interested in building Joffrey. Other bombs that you can run are cards that create bodies as they enter. I'm talking about Siege Gang Commander. I'm talking about Wormcoil Engine. I'm talking about Mirror Battlesphere. And I'm talking about Triplicate Titan. Cards like that, when they either enter the battlefield or they die, they get extra tokens out of the battlefield to help you go wide. Some of these cards are a little bit costed, but as I mentioned, Sneak Attack helps you cheat the cost a little bit. So yeah, you could, if you draw the right amount of cards, you could really go wide in a deck like this. But another thing that you can do as you're looping these creatures, getting extra value, is that you can deal direct damage to your opponents. I like to use Perforos, God of the Forge, and Terror of the Peaks to to deal direct damage as creatures are entering, leaving, and entering the battlefield again. Oh wow, I inhaled too hard. So, I'm good. So, you gotta sacrifice your creatures if you want them to die to create the token copies with Joffrey. The sacrifice outlets that I look to in this deck are Goblin Bombardment, classic. You can deal damage directly to a target or to a player. If there's a pesky creatures and you have enough creatures on board, you can deal damage directly to a creature. Also, there is a Dark Dweller Oracle. You can pay 1 to sacrifice a creature and exile the top card from your library. A little bit of card advantage, a sacrifice outlet. It's super sweet on a budget. Martyr's Cause and Ashnod's Altar, classic. Either get you some mana or prevent some damage from a source. So, oh man. Yeah, I am spitting all over my stuff right now. Y'all, this is not pretty. But we're not here to talk about being pretty. We're talking about ways that you can get creatures back from your graveyard. When they get exiled, they come back to your graveyard when the token dies. You can get them back either with a Karmic Guide, through Revelark, or you can make token copies of them with Felden of the Third Path, or a card I think people have been sleeping on for Joffrey, Dollhouse of Horrors. It's a way to recur some creatures from your graveyard. You have to exile them, but if you want to take your creatures out for one last rodeo, you can use that to make your token copy of creatures in your graveyard. Also, when creatures are on the battlefield and you want to make extra copies of them, you can do that with Delina Wildmage and Rionia. Making extra token copies, going wide, getting multiple ETB triggers, and then when they are sacrificed at end of turn, you get the dice triggers as well. Also, cards I think that are super underrated for Joffrey are cards with the Populate keyword. I run Rootboard Defenses and Ghired's Belligerence. Super duper handy, making, like when I was talking about how I once made 5 copies of Combustible Gearhulk, I did that with Ghired's Belligerence. Super sweet. So, this deck is very resilient. It can churn a lot of value. It can deal a lot of damage, but we have to close out the game. So, similar to Terror of the Peaks and Perforos, I also run Warstorm Surge and Impact Tremors to start dealing a little bit of damage, and then when you start to go really wide, you deal a lot of damage at once. It is also possible that you can go wide enough to deal combat damage and just close the game out through combat damage alone. I have Akroma's Will in my back pocket if that's ever a possibility. Love this card. People say Smothering Tithe is the best white card printed in the last 10 years. I honestly think it's Akroma's Will. Such a good finisher in white. A few more cards I think are noteworthy in this deck that are worth talking about are Anointed Procession and Panharmonicon. Love getting more than one token. Love getting double tokens. I love getting doubling up on my ETB triggers. And finally, a newer card from Commander 2021 I think is super solid is Cursed Mirror. This comes in as a copy of a creature on your side of the battlefield, and it gains haste. So when you play this, it's a mana rock, but it'll copy a creature and you'll get that ETB trigger again. And that's Joffrey. It's a super resilient, super fun deck. You are almost always able to maintain a board state, even if there are board wipes here and there. You are able to recur creatures from your graveyard, go wide, deal a lot of damage. I am getting a lot of snot right here. So yeah, that's my deck, Hofri Ghostforge. If you would like to take a look at the full deck list is down below in the description. Again, if you would like to find me and the content I make, I am on TikTok at Dr. Spells. I am also on Twitter and Twitch under the same name. Also, if you like this video, there are going to be more of them with more guests talking about other amazing decks. Like, comment, and subscribe to Spicy Plays for more content like this. Thanks again for watching.